Hope you're all doing well. Okay, today we are going to go over a little bit on the layers panel, what that kind of looks like, how that's organized, and then we're going to look at some more on the selection tools, the object selection tool, the quick select, and then the magic wand. Just taking a little bit of a deeper cut into that today. I know we kind of touched on it last time, so we're going to go over that. We're also going to introduce how to save files out of Photoshop, despite the fact that you guys all grew up with phones in your hands. You're, for the most part, are largely oblivious to just the file. So anyway, we're going to kind of look at some of that. Okay, so first thing I want to draw your attention to is this section in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. This is called the Layers tab. So anytime you have multiple layers here, for example, they will all show up here. Now, I've said this before, but Photoshop works from sort of a top-down perspective, meaning that whatever is on the very tippy top is what we will see. Beneath that, depending on what's below it, we'll either see it or we won't. So, for example, if I fill my top layer here with just with green, right? And then I fill this layer here with, let's just say black, okay? And I have visibility turned on my fourth layer here. That means that I cannot see the black layer here or the subsequent white layers beneath it, okay? So the reason that I'm able to see the green right here is because, number one, it's on top, and number two, I have this little eyeball turned on. See where it says indicates layer visibility. Now if I toggle that off, that means that I can see what's beneath it. So here I've turned off the green and black layers, meaning that I can see this white layer here. And if I use my brush and do that, and I can use my brush on this layer and do this. Okay, this is starting to make sense. So anytime I have the eyeball turned on, that means that I can see that layer's visibility. And anytime it's off, that means I can see whatever's beneath it. Now, kind of important here, but you see how this layer has these white brackets here? That indicates that that's the active layer. So anytime I want to use my brush, I need to make sure that I'm on the active layer. And that's the layer I want to edit on. If I was on this layer and I'm editing, nothing is going to happen. Okay, until I turn off my visibility, and then I can go, oopsie, sorry, wrong color. Let's do that. There we go. Okay, so attention to detail on what layer you're on, what layer you're working on, and what is on that layer becomes obviously very important as we start to use multiple layers. Now, I've had you duplicating layers with Command J, and that's a process you should absolutely get in the habit of doing. However, I just want to point this out that there are other ways to duplicate your image. For example, you can right-click your layer, and you can say duplicate layer. And then it will add, you just click OK on that dialog box, and then you can add that layer, and it will be duplicated. The other option is to drag this layer down to the plus sign at the bottom of the layers panel. Boom, there we go. And then, of course, your other option is Command J. Any of those options will work. The fastest, generally speaking, is Command J. Okay, so what I want to do today is just work on adding solid color fill layers. Now, what that means is I'm going to come down to this little half black, half white moon looking moon circle image there. And then we're just going to go until we see the word solid color. And then just pick a color. I'm going with this kind of sea foamy color. We'll just say OK on that. So now I've got a solid color here. Okay, that's all I want you to do. So pretty easy, just add a solid color fill layer. Okay, cool. Now, I'm going to include this image just in the 1.4 file folder, so make sure that you select it. Okay, and then let's take another deeper look into this guy here, our selection tools. Now, remember when I said when you have this little notch in the corner of any of your tools there, that means that you have more than one tool there, but it has similar or different features. So on this one, I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to my magic wand. What our goal is on this image is to, don't forget to Command J, what our goal on this is to take our subject, this dude in his, what does that say? I don't know, jacket there, and we're going to put him just on another different colored layer. Okay, so we need to select him and then get him on his own layer, and then work with our newly taught layer organization to get him on top of that. Okay, so again, let's just kind of show what each of these is going to do. If I grab the magic wand and I click that, it's not really working because the colors are too different to work very well. Okay, so that's no good. What if I try and select him? Well, that's even worse because skin tones are going to be different, right? The color of hair is going to be different. Shoes are going to be different. The pants are going to look different than the coat, right? All of these things will be a little bit different. So that's no good. Remember Command D to deselect. Okay, then I've got my quick select. Now I can try and use quick select and select my guy here with a couple of brush strokes, and that's doing a pretty decent job. Now see, it missed the coattails, it missed that, missed part of his shoe. So I can add a little bit of that in there. Okay, but by and large, this does a decent job, but I want to show you the third option here, which is object select. Okay, so let's click on object select, and then I just want to draw your attention up to here to where it says select subject. Okay, so there's two ways to do this. I can just click select subject, or I can use this just like the marquee tool, drag a box around him, and then Photoshop will, and my Photoshop is working hard, man. There we go, and that looks pretty good. Did a really good job. Okay, let's see what select subject will give me. I'm just going to click select subject. Oh no, okay, you're right. Sorry, I did the box last time. Sorry, my dad called me in the middle of this little bit there. Okay, so select subject worked really well. It missed a little part at the bottom of his shoe there. So, you know, I don't know which one is necessarily better in this case. Okay, so remember when I introduced Command J, the other option, when you have a selection made, in this case our dude here, if we do Command J now, what it's going to do, and I'm just going to add that little part here. What it's going to do is it's going to duplicate the contents of our selection. Okay, so what that means, sorry, let's get out of quick mask and let's do Shift J. That's going to bug me, that little bottom part of the shoe, so I'm going to make sure I grab that. So what I'm going to do is actually go back to quick select and then just go and snag the bottom there. Okay, right. So again, when we hit Command J with an active selection, what's going to happen is that over here on our layers panel, we are going to get just a duplicate of the contents of our selection. And then in this case, this was our guy. So now what I want you to do is add a new blank fill solid color layer. So I'm going to hit that half white, half black, the black and white cookie, and I'm going to click OK on that. Now, here's where layer organization matters. See how my green layer is on top? That means that I can't see my guy below. So what I can do is drag this layer down beneath him and then let it go. And then what do you know? We've got him standing on his own layer. Okay, pretty cool. So once you're at this stage, I'm actually going to have you guys submit this just as an assignment. Again, not an assessment, but as an assignment. So how we're going to do this, and this is good practice to get into, but we're going to go up to File, and then we're going to go down until we see the word Save a Copy. Okay, and then we want to save these on our computer. So click Save on my computer, and then this is where it gets tricky, so you need to pay attention here. So where it says Save As, you could just say like, you know, guy, or whatever. And then see this folder here where mine says T. I want to change that to desktop. So over here you can select desktop, or you can select desktop here. And just FYI, this is nothing onerous. We can click desktop there, and then our format, we want to always make sure that this says JPEG. Okay? And then when you're done there, we can click Save, and then Save. And then when that blue progress bar fills up, it will save. And because I selected desktop, now it lives right there. Okay? And then I can go back into Canvas and then submit that as a JPEG, which you all need to do now. So again, File, save a copy, save on your computer, click Desktop over here. If Desktop isn't here, hit this until we do have Desktop, or it could be right here. Okay, it could be in any of those places. And then we'll just save this as green background guy. Okay, and then our format needs to say JPEG. And then we will click Save, and we will click OK. And then again, there he is. Okay. And then when you go to submit this on Canvas, when you start to search for your location, just search for your desktop and then the name of the file that you have. Okay. So I want to see, when we're done, I want to see this dude, and I want to see him on all sorts of different colored backdrops. Don't just do the green that I did. Do purple or red or orange or whatever you feel like. Okay. Thank you guys so much. So just to recap, we covered layers, layer organization, and a little deeper cut on the Object Select tool where we learned about Select Subject. Okay, thank you so much. See you on Thursday, Friday.